Let us start today's Hindus news. Important news. March 28th, Russian President Vladimir Putin, will visit India this year. Russian Foreign Minister Lavrov announced, and they are making the necessary preparations for the visit. He appreciated India's balanced approach towards Ukraine's crisis while addressing an event in New Delhi. Russian Foreign Minister appreciated India's balanced stand with respect to Russia-Ukraine issues. The relations between our countries have a long history. We can say that they have stood the test of the time more than once. Today, Russia and India are developing equal cooperation based on sincere mutual respect and consideration of each other's interests. It is symbolic that Prime Minister Narendra Modi made his first bilateral foreign visit after he got re-elected last year to Russia. Now it is our turn to come back to India. So Putin is coming to India later this year. It's a big news that is coming up. A leader with such a stature, if he visits India, it's a big news. And Russian President Putin accepted the invitation of the Indian Prime Minister. The visit of the head of the Russian state to the Republic of India is being prepared. This will be Mr. Putin's first trip to India since the Ukraine crisis began in February 2022. So, after the Russia-Ukraine war, Putin never visited India. This is the first visit after Russia-Ukraine war by Putin to India. He had paid a short visit to India on December 6, 2021 for the 21st India-Russia Annual Summit. Mr. Putin has received an invitation from Mr. Narendra Modi to visit India early in 2025. Mr. Modi, the Prime Minister of India, have visited Russia on July 8th and 9th, 2024 for the 22nd Annual India-Russia Summit. This was followed by his participation in the BRICS Summit in Kazan, where he met Russian President again. And now you all know that India-Russia are all-weather friends. Our friendship goes beyond times, it is true, because in 1971 we have made a treaty of peace, cooperation and friendship with Russia. Even during Cold War period, Russia helped India. In 1974, after Pokhran 1, when America stopped nuclear fuel supply to India. And Russia is one of the major defense suppliers to India even today. And before 2000, Russia is almost I can say, Russia dominated the major defense supplies to India. BrahMos supersonic cruise missile, Admiral Gorshkov, tank technology, fighter aircrafts, 5th generation fighter aircrafts, what not. We got everything from Russia. In fact, India-Russia relations are very, very strong. And we also have joint exercises in the name of Indra. So, Putin's visit to India is going to be historic this year. Coming back, the next important headlines with respect to again IR. Donald Trump levies 25% tariff on imported cars. US President Donald Trump unveiled a 25% tariff on imported vehicles, expanding a global trade war and prompting criticism and threats of retaliation from the affected trade partners. The new tariffs on cars and light trucks will take effect on April 3rd. They will take effect on April 3rd. The day after Mr. Trump plans to announce reciprocal tariffs aimed at the countries responsible for the bulk of American trade deficit. They come on the top of the duties already introduced on steel and aluminum and goods from Mexico, Canada and China. America imported $474 billion worth automobile products in 2024, including passenger cars, from the countries like Mexico, Japan, South Korea, Canada and Germany. All these countries are very close to America. They are the biggest automobile suppliers to America. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said that this is bad for businesses, worse for consumers in America also. While Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney labeled this tariff on automobiles as a direct attack on Canadian workers and said retaliatory measures were being considered. We will defend our workers, we will defend our companies, we will defend our country, Mr. McCartney said. Coming back, I can tell you one thing. This is going to affect not the partners but America. He is intentionally ruining certain businesses in America. In fact, it's a American economy is already in losses. Is going to see bigger losses with these tariffs. The reason is it affects American producers, it affects American consumers. The tariffs which he is imposing does not just affect the trade partners but also American consumers and American producers and American raw material procurers. So it is not that easy for America to withstand all these things. I don't know why Trump is taking this type of decisions on retaliation and revenge. Coming back, in India, expressing concern over tariff war looming over the global economy after American President Donald Trump announced tariffs, retaliatory tariffs from April 2nd, opposition members in Rajya Sabha asked the centre if it had any specific plan to deal with the threat. The opposition MPs in Rajya Sabha raised the issue during a discussion on appropriation and finance bills. And the question is, what India is going to do if Donald Trump imposes retaliatory tariffs on India? So what is the plan of action for India? This is a question. So what is the government's response asked by Mr. P. Chidambaram, the former finance minister? So this is a big question and India has to ready for that. Coming back, Telangana Transplantation of Human Organs Bill 2025 was passed in Legislative Assembly with bipartisan backing to bring the state's organ transplantation regulations in line with the Central Act and curb illegal organ trade. So to curb illegal organ trade, Telangana Assembly passed Organ Transplantation Bill, the Telangana Transplantation of Human Organs Bill 2025. The bill was introduced by Health Minister and earlier we have an existing bill called Telangana Transplantation of Human Organs Bill 1995. The bill is being replaced by new bill. So to actually curb the illegal organ trade, you all know that illegal organ trade is a very big mafia and business. 2-3 years back in Chennai, this illegal organ trade was in news. Selling of organs, illegal organ, see kidneys, lungs, even human body parts, illegally selling and buying should be strictly prohibited. So for that reason, and most of the organs are being transplanted to foreigners, not Indians. Even that is a thing. For that reason, even Telangana Assembly passed an organ transplantation bill 2025. This is a thing that is coming up in news. Coming back, if you see today's Hindu paper editorial page, if you observe today's Hindu paper editorial page, Sahyog portal is in news. For all the citizens of India, you should know an important thing, not only for civil aspirants. There is no place in earth or heaven without social media today. X, that is Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp channels, Telegram, Snapchat, YouTube, whatnot. Our life is integrated with internet. Our life is integrated with social media. But the thing is, for example, we have a YouTube channel. I have a YouTube channel. If I post a content which is derogatory, which is against the sovereignty integrity of India, which is offensive, is my platform liable? That is YouTube liable or am I personally liable? This is the question. For this, we have an act in India called Information Technology Act 2000. We have an act in India called Information Technology Act 2000. In the Information Technology Act 2000, under section 79, there is a clause called Safe Harbor Clause. See, the platform or intermediary is not liable to an extent because we actually produce seamless information in the social media. So for each and every offense information, platform will not be liable. That is called safe harbor. Provided if platform removes the derogatory content within the stipulated time, once government authorities asked the platform to take action on it. If platform could not take sufficient action by removing the derogatory content or offensive content, then platform is also equally liable as a person who posted the content. For example, if I post a content which is derogatory or which is against the sovereignty integrity or security of the state, then initially YouTube is not liable. If government writes to YouTube, if YouTube do not take action, delete my video, then YouTube will lose the safe harbor exemption. This is the basic theory. But the thing is, Government of India, under the Ministry of Information Communication Technology, have had a portal called Sahyog. The portal was launched by Ministry of Home Affairs, but the portal is also coordinated by Ministry of Information and Electronics Technology. So, Government of India expected that all the social media platforms should join in Sahyog portal, where the authorities will also be in a contact. So, in the Sahyog portal, there will be effective coordination and there will be effective reminders. That's the government's argument. Now there is a court case that is going on between ex Twitter Corporation versus Government of India. Twitter versus Government of India. It's a big case that is coming up. First of all, in this case, in Shreya Singhal versus Union of India, Section 66A of IT Act was considered as unconstitutional. Section 66A of Information Technology Act was considered as unconstitutional as it is against Article 19, Clause 1, Clause A, freedom of speech and expression. For example, if I post a statement expressing my views in my channel, I should not be arrested because every citizen enjoys freedom of speech and expression under Article 19, Clause 1, Clause A. But there are restrictions in 19 Clause 2. There are restrictions in 19 Clause 2. If I post something against the sovereignty integrity of India, security of the state, friendly relations with the foreign states, decency, morality, contempt of court, defamation, etc., then I am liable for that, whatever I speak. Freedom of speech is not absolute. But for each and every expression, for each and every sentence, you should not make me liable. That is Shreya Singhal versus Union of India struck down Section 66A of Information Technology Act as unconstitutional. In the same case, the court also said the government can use Section 69A of Information Technology Act. So you can block any content, you can block any information under Section 69A, but there are some procedural safeguards under 69A. What are the procedural safeguards? For example, if you produced a content in Twitter or if you produced a content in Instagram or Telegram or YouTube, if you feel that that content is blocked without reason, then you have every right to approach to the judiciary and judiciary can review the order. And government under 69A should give a reasoned letter, reasoned document why the content should be blocked. Then only social media platforms can block the content. The Twitter's argument is, X corporation's argument is, see, government is not giving blocking orders based on 69A, but government instead using Section 79 of Information Technology Act. Section 79 also deals with safe harbor clause. Safe harbor clause. In fact, according to Twitter, in fact, government is threatening that it will remove safe harbor clause if you don't block the information. How come Government of India can compel all social media platforms to join in Sahyog portal? Even without joining in Sahyog portal, if you feel that information is derogatory or offensive, we will block it. But Government of India should not threaten us to join in Sahyog portal or section. Government of India should not give notice under Section 79. It is enough that Government of India should give notice on Section 69A. But the case is going on. Let's see. And the complaint of Twitter is not just topmost officials, even small officials, they are even some police, they are also regularly sending blocking orders to us. So blocking the content is different from blocking the channel or blocking the Twitter or blocking the entire handle. So Government of India most of the times are giving blocking orders with respect to entire handles. So is it correct or not? It's a big question, and the issue is going on in the court. It is sub judice in the court. Let's see, and if the decision comes, it's going to be a landmark decision with respect to Twitter versus Government of India. In the editorial page today, backdoor censor. So 79A, government is regularly using. Sahyog portal is, according to the Twitter's argument, censorship portal. They are saying Sahyog portal is censorship portal. Intentionally they are doing that. This is the news that is coming up with respect to Sahyog. Coming back, the other important news, Women Unbound. See, the worst thing in India is public places are not safe for women. Public places are not safe for women. You have seen MMTS Secunderabad train episode where women jumped from the train fearing sexual assault. There is a man who actually boarded into the train in the women's compartment, ladies' compartment. started making sexual advances on her. Fearing a sexual assault, she jumped out of the train. And you have seen Allahabad High Court judge statements yesterday. The insensitive and inhuman statements given by Allahabad High Court judge with respect to minor victim. Okay, the letter of the law is not important. The spirit of the law is important. If you see section 375 of old IPC Indian Penal Code and section 63 of Bharatiya Nyaya Samhita, the definition of rape goes only with the penetrative sexual assault. But if you touch a woman in any part, it is not a rape unless there is a penetration. Can it be a proper definition? If two boys or two men, two adult men commits a sexual assault on a woman in the public place, taking behind her under a culvert, can it happen? Can't it be called as a sexual assault? Okay, think it over. Think it over how insensitive the judge was with respect to booking a POXO case and also rape case. Coming back, US India defense ties. India needs to keep its eyes open. So, yesterday there's a big news. General Electricals is supplying batteries to Tejas MKIA light combat aircraft. So, now Indian Air Force is getting new boost for Tejas light combat aircraft. And in the latest SIPRI report, Stockholm International Peace Research Institute report 2022-2024 shows that India is still the second highest arms import in the world. However, India's arms imports have reduced by 9.3% in between 2015 to 2019. And the good news for India is now Atmanirbhar, trying to become self-reliant in defense manufacturing. And India is doing good in self-reliance in defense manufacturing. You are observing, we are trying to produce many things within India itself with respect to naval ships, submarines, with respect to aircrafts, and we have Hindustan Aeronautics Limited, we have DRDO Defense Research and Development Organization, and we also have various factories like heavy vehicle factory in India to produce tanks, and we have good institutions to defense manufacturing, and we are heading towards Atmanirbhar in defense. At the same time, we should also keep an eye on India-America defense partnership, particularly America's sophisticated technology is very important, and India got strategic initiatives with America also. This is very important. Just look into this article. Coming back, should the free movement regime between India and Myanmar remain? See, between India and Myanmar in 2018, we have a FMR, free movement regime. 16 kilometers you can travel either side without a visa. So you can cross Indian border and go to Myanmar for about 16 kilometers, and they can come for about 16 kilometers. The reason is India-Myanmar border is a hilly border where many tribal communities locate. They do not actually have this India-Myanmar feeling, particularly in the bordering villages. They have family relations, marital relations, and other relations. So for that reason, we allowed free movement regime between India and Myanmar for many things, for small trade and for families and other things. But the thing is, recently I have seen the episode in Manipur, Meiteis and Kukis, and there is a news that there is an infuriation from Myanmar border also with respect to this. And also, we need to procure our border. 2 years back, our Home Minister Amit Shah announced that we are going to have fencing in India-Myanmar border also, as we have in India and Bangladesh border. But again, should free movement regime? Recently, there's an announcement by the government of India that with respect to the issues in the India-Myanmar border, we are going to end the free movement regime. In February 2024, Union Home Minister Amit Shah announced that free movement regime along the India-Myanmar border would be scrapped, but there has neither been any notification by the Ministry of External Affairs in this regard, and the bilateral agreement with Myanmar so far. And if you observe the things, should it remain or should it be scrapped off? This is the question. We have border of 1653 kilometers long border with Myanmar, 1653 kilometers long border with Myanmar, and it's very difficult to stop the tribals there. It's a very important thing which you need to understand. So Free movement regime is a good thing for goodwill and it promotes India's activist policy. It promotes India's activist policy also. On the other side, it also affects our security. So it has both positives and challenges. We need to actually take care of it very seriously. Free movement regime. Coming back, the other important thing, yesterday, March 27th is Bangladesh National Day. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and President of India also wrote a letter to Mr. Muhammad Yunus, the chief advisor of interim government, and Muhammad Yunus paid his visit to China instead of coming to India, and he said, India have not welcomed him. My question is, how can India welcome him if he is not a elected leader, democratically elected leader? This is the first question. Second thing, there is a news that he is going very close to China and he is also boarding ISI and other activities in Bangladesh. So for all these reasons, India immediately will not host unless there is a stability, law and order situation, and also unless there is a proper democratically elected government in Myanmar, India will not take a stand on Myanmar's political issues. Recently, last month, when Modi ji visited Donald Trump in America, Donald Trump said, Bangladesh issue, Modi ji will take care, said by Donald Trump. So you have seen the clear stand of Donald Trump on the issue that India will take care Myanmar. Exercise Prachanda Prahar. 3 defense forces carried out a tri-service exercise, integrated multi-domain exercise, codenamed Prachanda Prahar, in the high altitude terrain of Himalayas along the northern borders of Arunachal Pradesh. So the Prachanda Prahar is a tri-service integrated multi-domain exercise. The 3-day exercise from March 25th to 27th commenced with the deployment of advanced surveillance resources of all 3 forces, including long-range surveillance aircrafts of IAF and the maritime domain awareness aircraft of Indian Navy, helicopters and unmanned aerial vehicles along the space resources. It's a very important thing. The tri-services, you all know tri-services means Army, Navy and Air Force. All the tri-services should have coordination in case of any exigency. For that reason, exercise Prachanda Prahar shows an integrated multi-domain exercise for effective collaboration between all the 3 forces. How all the 3 forces uses each other's expertise in case of any emergency. Coming back, crude oil reserves found in Uttar Pradesh. Crude oil deposits have been discovered near Sagarpalli village in Balia district of Uttar Pradesh, and ONGC has initiated exploring efforts. This venture may involve acquiring land from local farmers. A significant crude oil reserves was found on the land owned by a family in Balia. The discovery came after 3 months survey in Ganga Basin, revealing oil reserves at a depth of 3,000 meters. ONGC has leased 6.5 acres and they are paying annuity to the family, and now they are exploring oil drilling, and they are also drilling at the various locations in Ganga Basin for further explorations. As of April 2021, India has estimated crude oil reserves of approximately 587.335 million metric tons. The western offshore region accounts for the largest share of these reserves, followed by Assam and Gujarat. ONGC is the leading entity in the exploration and production of crude oil in India. ONGC was established in the year 1956, you all know that. Coming back, Parliamentary panel recommends key reforms for CBI, including lateral entry for specialists. Do you know, in CBI, there is a deputation post for police and other officials, but now Parliamentary panel is also recommending lateral entry for specialists. For example, if you are not a civil servant, if you are not a government servant, if you are expertise in certain crime detection and other things, into investigations, you can be taken into job as a lateral entry entrant. Lateral entry means, though you are not a part of the system, you are allowed to enter into the system. Okay, this is called lateral entry. Flagging the shortage of candidates for deputation for CBI, Central Board of Investigation, a parliamentary panel recommended lateral entry for specialists, while also suggesting a new law to be enacted to allow the CBI to probe without state's consent, affecting national security and integrity. I think you all know, if CBI has to enter into the state, it has to take a state's consent. The state's consent can be denied by the state, but the cases with respect to affecting national security and integrity, CBI can enter without states' consent. This change should come in the legal reforms. This is the suggestion given by parliamentary panel. It also recommended the development of independent recruitment framework. So there should be separate CBI recruitment framework by allowing direct recruitments to core ranks like DSPs, inspectors, sub-inspectors, DSPs, inspectors, sub-inspectors. So in future, UPSC and SSC will also separately recruit some level of officers in CBI. This is a very important news that is coming up. Kasampatti is Tamil Nadu's second biodiversity heritage site. Tamil Nadu government has officially declared Kasampatti village in Dindigul district in the Tamil Nadu state as a second biodiversity heritage site in Tamil Nadu in recognition of its ecological and cultural significance. Kasampatti is a small village grove, is a biodiversity hotspot with 48 species of trees, shrubs, lianas, herbs, and it have snakes, reptiles, small mammals, butterflies, insects, and at least 12 species of birds. So biodiversity heritage spot, Kasampatti in Tamil Nadu. Kasampatti in Tamil Nadu. And another news is coming up from Telangana. Telangana Assembly passed a resolution on delimitation. So Telangana Assembly adopts resolution against taking up delimitation on population basis. Telangana CM Revanth Reddy argued that population alone should not be the sole criteria for the reorganization of territorial constituencies. He stated that the state should consider as a unit while undertaking the process. The Chief Minister of Telangana also advocated for an increase in the number of reserved seats for SCs and STs and called for the higher allocation of seats for South India. He proposed the existing number of Lok Sabha seats in Telangana should remain unchanged. And you all know for Telangana there are 119 assembly seats, and Telangana CM is demanding that assembly seats in Telangana should be increased to 153. Assembly seats in Telangana should be increased to 153. Prime Minister Narendra Modi speaks with Belgian King Philip, hails deepening bilateral ties. You all know that recently Belgian Princess Astrid visited India to increase more business ties with India. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji spoke with King Philip of Belgium, discussing shared close ties between the two countries while remain underpinned by strong mutual interests of trade and investment. In November 2017, King Philip and Queen paid visit to India, their first visit to India following King's assumption of the throne in 2013. Belgium was among the first European countries to establish diplomatic relations with India, and recently Belgium Queen have come to India with 325 Belgian delegates comprising of CEOs of topmost Belgian businesses. So Belgium wants to establish good economic ties. Now every country is having an eye on India to have economic ties. So India is going to rule the world by 2047. Rule the world in the sense, going to be a very big business hub in the world. So opportunities will not lie in America, opportunities will lie in India. So you are all lucky people to stay back in India. కాంపిటేటివ్ ఎగ్జామ్ సంబంధించి ప్రత్యేకంగా సివిల్ సర్వీసెస్ ఎగ్జామ్ సంబంధించి ఏ ఆప్షన్ చూస్ చేసుకోవాలి, ప్రిపరేషన్ ఎప్పుడు స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి, ఏ బుక్స్ రిఫర్ చేయాలి, ఇలాంటి డౌట్స్ ఉంటే CSBIS అకాడమీని కాంటాక్ట్ అవ్వచ్చు. దీనికి సంబంధించి నా పర్సనల్ అపాయింట్మెంట్ ఈ వీడియో పైన డిస్ప్లే అవుతున్న కాంటాక్ట్ నెంబర్కి ఫోన్ చేసి తీసుకోవచ్చు.